What is up, yeasters, beasters, and turkey feasters? Thanks for sitting down at the messy desk with me this week, and hey, happy Thanksgiving. As I record this, it is Thursday, the last Thursday of November, and you know what that means. It's turkey time, it's mashed taters and gravy time, it's time for charged political conversations with family members. It's the most wonderful time of the year, as my boy Frank Sinatra loves to say. But most importantly, more importantly than being thankful and family and good yam yams with your grams, is that Thanksgiving marks the anniversary of the day that the indigenous people in this country gave us America for free. They didn't want it, I guess. They walked right up to us and they were like, do you want this? We're not doing anything with it. And the Pilgrims were like, I mean, I guess you're really forcing my hand here, but I guess I'll take it. Look, I could go on and on about how Thanksgiving is an awful holiday celebrating the worst facets of American history, really glorifying genocide and settler colonialism. And you would all sit there and you would clap and you'd say, he's right. He's so fucking right. And I would love that. I'd love to do that. But what I really want to talk about, just the last word on Thanksgiving, the final word on Thanksgiving, if you will. Turkey sucks. Have we talked about that enough? I don't feel like it's talked about enough. Maybe it is. Maybe it's played out. But I got to tell you, man, we really got to address the fact that turkey is like the second worst meat, like just narrowly behind bologna. Maybe Spam if you're counting that. It's a bad holiday with bad food, celebrating bad things. So what we're going to do today is do the one good thing about Thanksgiving, which is taking stock, okay? Looking back and asking ourselves, what are we thankful for? What do we feel good about? What are some things maybe we've learned? How are some ways that we've grown? I want you to reflect with me as I kind of talk to you about these things and rant about these things. Because as I was laying in bed thinking about it, some of them were pretty obvious to me, but others really kind of resonated with me in a new way. And I thought, what better day to sit here and tell my audience, I just feel like I've grown so much. I just feel so smart and big now. And like, I used to be a little baby boy who didn't know anything, and now I'm a big man with children and this kind of haircut, and I'm really smart. I wear glasses, so that's like, in movie speak, buddy, I'm kind of fat, I wear glasses, I have kids, I'm a professor, okay? So today what I really want to talk about, as the title has already told you, is 5 lessons that I've learned as an artist, as a person, as just a fella trying to exist on the internet and as an artist in this world, things that I wish that I could yell at my older self. Oftentimes when I do these kind of sit down talky videos, I'm trying to reach a portion of my audience that is literally younger me, you know, who are a little fresh-faced, a little green to this game, who don't really have a solid sense of direction or maybe the sort of tough, hard-earned confidence that a YouTube persona like I have, braving the internet every day. I mean, truly, I am braver than the troops, and that's just a fact. You can look that up on the internet. But if you're just sitting there and you're not really sure where you're going with music, you're not really sure who's marketing to you and who's being honest with you, who's selling you crap and who's selling you Christ, don't worry. I've been there. And in some instances, I kind of still feel like I'm there. So maybe some of these lessons will resonate with you or be new to you and kind of give you a new perspective going forward. That's what I hope. Anyway, without further ado, let's make like the British settlers of this country and just let's get right into it, huh? Let's do it. Number one is that you don't need gear. And I'm not going to harp on this too much because I have this video about it, which talks about why you don't need gear. And I'm going to wait for this little card here to go away. Just waiting really patiently. It kind of sits there for a while. Okay. This one here about why also you don't need gear. Why did I make 2 videos? Because it needs to be said twice. Couscous is the food so nice they named it twice. You don't need gear is the tip so nice you need to hear it twice. So here's what it is, man. All that you need in music, I've said this before and I'll say it again, all that you need to be successful is the will to make music. I mean, when I say successful, I don't mean chart-topping hits. That's completely fucking random. It's all a rat race. What I mean is all that you need to be fulfilled, in my opinion, is a will to make music and self-determination. That's really it. Gear, most of the time, should be a means to an end, a vehicle with which to more swiftly and efficiently transport you to whatever your musical goal is. Anything that's a barrier to that, anything that's stopping you from reaching that destination that you're trying to get to is a waste of your time. And so much of gear and the acquisition of gear and the researching of gear, it's a hamster wheel, and it just keeps on spinning. And if you're like me, which judging by the comments, a lot of people are, and I'm sorry about that, that you have to be like me, it's not easy, is that it'll affect you the same way. And it sucks, man. It can get you some really bad places. So remember this, and I really fucking mean it. You don't need gear. What you need is determination. And if you have that self-will, if you have that drive and that passion for music, you're going to find a way to achieve your goals. Don't worry about wasting it on gear. Don't worry about wasting your money and your time hunting down some mythical perfect piece of gear. 1, it doesn't exist. 2, you're going to spend a lot of money. 3, you're going to feel real bad about yourself. I don't want any of these 3 things to happen to you. So that's number 1. Number done. Let's move on to number 2. Number 2, most important lesson I've learned is that, dude, I'm going to be real brave here and just say this. You can make music however you want. And I know that this sounds really duh and obvious and like almost rote, but I can't tell you the number of students I've had to genuinely tell this to. The number of people who get in their own way, myself included, with ego and preconceptions and this sort of romanticized version of what music making should be. You should make everything from scratch. You should, compose everything yourself. You should learn music theory. You should, make every patch. You should make every chord change whole cloth. You should, everything. Everything should be done by you. You should mix and master it. You should be Russ, basically. And I don't know why anybody wants to be that guy. But you don't. You don't have to do that. It's a fucking lie. And I don't know who's selling it or why they're selling it. I guess it's an ego thing. But stop buying it, okay? Make it like gear. Stop buying that shit. You can make music however you want. If the way that you want to make music is by taking chord loops and chopping those up and making chord progressions that way, mwah, you did it, and I'm so proud of you. If you want to make music using drum loops, and you don't even want to slice them up, you just want to process them, you just want to layer them maybe as like a top loop over your kick drum, whatever, do that. If you want to take samples from splice.com and drag them into Ableton and just have a party, you can do that. There are varying degrees of like artistic integrity here, right? If you take 4 4-bar loops, all that are in the same key and tempo, and pull it into Ableton and do nothing, no processing, nothing, and say, I made a song. I mean, did you? I don't know. I don't think so, but if you're happy and you're not trying to sell that to anybody, that's great. Who fucking cares, man? Music is a pursuit of, I don't know, for me, spirituality, God. I don't believe in God. I don't really feel that in my life ever, but music is the closest I get. So I could really give a shit if someone buys my music. What I want is that little tingly feeling in the back of my spine that tells me that it feels good to be alive sometimes. And I think a lot of people feel the same way, especially people that are really fiddly with their gear, people that really just kind of want to fiddle around with synth patches and modular stuff. I think there's just something primal in music that people are searching for, and you should do that without the weight of somebody else's expectations. You should do that without the weight of those expectations unconsciously making you think a certain way. You should do that without any weight at all. You should make music however you want to make music. Spend as much or as little time as you want making your music. Do what makes you happy and what makes the process fun and fulfilling to you. That's all you need to do. And if it sounds obvious, it's because it fucking should be. But we are weird creatures that make things a lot more complicated than they need to be sometimes. And sometimes I think things like this bear repeating. So look me in the eyes here. Make music however you want. Make music in the way that will make you, the viewer, happy and fulfilled and whole. Because at the end of the day, man, we're just hurtling through space on a dumb rock. And if you're sitting here going, I can't fucking use splice samples. I mean, that's just not real music. I mean, I've got to make up from scratch in Serum. I mean, you're going to die one day. So, I mean, it's all about how you want to spend that time, I guess, my guy. But if that makes you happy, do that. I got weird there. Let's pull it back. How's everybody doing? How are we feeling? Check in with yourself for a second. Deep breath, mindfulness. I don't believe in any of that shit, but people do. Okay. Number 3. Number 3 kind of goes right along with number 2, which is that it's really easy in this game, music, artistry in general, to put yourself down. It's really easy to do that. And I know, because I do it all the time. I know I put on a big cloak of confidence in this channel. I know I seem like a super giga sigma alpha male Chad, and it seems like I got it all worked out. Okay, I seem so smart and I'm so sexy, and I have a hot wife. But I'm a mess. I don't know if that's not clear to you. I'm a big fucking mess. And that's okay. It's okay to be a mess. We're all messes, man. There's a goddamn panorama going on outside. People are dying. We haven't really processed that, and we probably never will because we're celebrating Thanksgiving. We don't really process a lot of death super well, do we? Putting yourself down is really easy. It's really easy to say, I suck. I'm really bad. I'm shit. My music sucks. I hate myself, and I want to throw myself in front of a moving train. You know what's hard? Not doing that. It's really fucking hard to not do that, for me, anyway. I would urge you to try, though, because the more that you try to not do that, the more it becomes a habit. You don't know how often you unconsciously make a habit. And if you make a habit of putting yourself down, it's just going to become ingrained into your brain. Like one of those Matrix things. I don't know. I've never seen it. But if you instill in yourself, in your heart, that you're trying, that you're doing your best, that you are on a path to your success in a way that matters to you and fulfills you, I think you're a lot better for it. And I don't know because I'm still trying. But it's an important lesson because as soon as I stopped telling myself constantly that I'm dog shit, as soon as I started believing at least a little bit, even if it's like weird post-irony, 28,000 meme humor, as soon as I started feeling a little confident, a little good about myself, a little good about music, a little good about saying, hey, that bangs. That section of that song, that shit fucking rips. Hell yeah. Could the mix be better? Maybe, but it fucking rips and I love it. Do that to yourself. Be generous with yourself. Because, again, it all comes back to this. Existential terror is a real thing, man. There's only so long we have on this earth, and we don't know how long it is, ever. So, do you want to spend that time with your head buried in your hands saying, I'm just no fucking good, Ma, I'm shit? Or do you want to sit there feeling good about yourself? And, pushing yourself with positive reinforcement and putting love not only out into the world, but into yourself. I'm really bad at this. I don't practice what I preach, but I'm trying to. And I want you to try too, okay? I really do. Because even just in the minuscule ways that I've been doing it, it's helped me 1,000-fold. So putting yourself down is easy. Stopping it is hard. But you got to try. Trying is the key. And I want you to do it. Will you do it for me? Cool. Number 4 has a lot to do with number 3. You are better than you were yesterday. And you will continue to be if you put in the work. Now, this is me telling myself this because I need to relearn this lesson a little bit. I have not been putting in the work recently. I've been very busy. Work, kids, buying 1 trillion board games and learning none of them. There's not a lot of time in the day. But if you spend even 10, 15, 30 minutes grinding away a little bit at your little music slab, making your little music sculpture, Michelangelo style, you will improve. You will grow. You will get better. Let me use a parenting analogy for you here, because this is something that I'm really involved in. I potty trained my younger son, and let me tell you, it was a miserable experience. It felt like he would never stop peeing and pooping and pissing and shitting and farting in his pants. It felt insurmountable at times, because you take him to the toilet over and over again. You tell him you got to go to the toilet. You help him go to the toilet. He sits on the toilet and then he poos his pants. And oh gosh, it's not his fault, but you want him to succeed. And then one day, he just stops going in his pants. And he doesn't have accidents anymore. And whoa, he's pissing and shitting and farting in the toilet, and we're so happy for him. Music is like potty training in a lot of ways, in that the progress that you see is minuscule. It's very hard to see yourself progress, but you are if you're trying. And if you take a step back, this is why I'm a huge advocate for holding on to every piece of music you make. If you take a step back and look at some of the older stuff you did, you're going to be fucking gobsmacked. You're going to say, holy shit, I'm so much better now than I was then. And then guess what? In 4 months from now, you're going to look back and you're going to go, holy shit, I'm so much better now than I was then. I didn't know anything back then. And then 6 months from then, you're going to look back and you're going to say, oh my God, I didn't know anything. Why did I have reverb on everything and no EQ? Why did I think that was good? You're going to keep learning. You're going to keep growing. You're going to get better and better. And the important thing there, the most importantest note is that little asterisk, which is that you got to put the work in. You got to try. You got to spend time doing the music thing, you know, to get better. You got to practice, is it really? Practice is what I'm telling you. It's a really good feeling like you've looked back and said, wow, I've grown so much. And the same is true in parenting, you know? So pee in the toilet, practice your fucking scales and shit, and just try to make music every day. Because if you do, not only will you not piss and shit and fart in your pants, you'll get better. And if you get better, it's a little bit easier to not beat yourself up. And if you don't beat yourself up, it's a little bit easier to make music however you want. And last but not least, number five. Number five is that social media is a resource and a dangerous one. And you should use it carefully. I've met some of my best friends ever, lifelong friends now, on social media. I have you guys because of social media. I wouldn't be here on YouTube if I didn't have friends that I had met via the internet telling me I should make these videos. If I didn't have Matt from EasyBot saying, hey, come over here. I see potential in you. Come to my Discord and I'll show you the way. I'll tell you to make a Patreon. It's going to be great. You're going to get so many subscribers. Whoa, crazy and so nice. But there's a flip side to this, which is that social media can suck. And look, I'm not exactly ringing any unique bells here when I say that social media can suck. But I do think that people don't talk about the benefits of social media enough. I think people don't talk about the connections that can be made and the life-changing things that can happen by engaging with these things that we love to hate so much. You know, I wouldn't have the day job that I do without this YouTube channel. I wouldn't have this YouTube channel without friends I met via the internet. I wouldn't have met those friends if I hadn't been on fucking Instagram and Discord and all these various avenues. I'm a huge believer in detaching yourself from social media when you need to. Absolutely, you need to do this. But I'm also a huge believer in putting yourself out there. You see an artist that you like on social media, message them. Say, holy shit, this fucking rips and I love you. You see a person that you want to connect with and make friends with, message them and say, hey, I think you're fucking cool and I'd love to be friends with you. You know, you don't have to be weird about it. But literally one of my best friends in the world, Akil, I've talked about him multiple times on the channel. He has a YouTube channel here. Music, I'll put down in the description. He's one of the best people I know. So smart, so handsome, has a beautiful little dog, and two of the cutest fucking cats in the world, and I hate him for it. I met him because I bought a module, I posted it on my story, and he responded to me saying, sick. And we've talked every day since. We've been best friends for 2 years now, almost 3. And I never want him to not be in my life. And it's because he just randomly messaged me and said, nice. That's it. So use social media to your advantage, especially now when we're kind of more disconnected and detached than ever. And I don't mean that in like a boomer cynic way. I just mean that like there's a pandemic and you can't exactly, or maybe shouldn't, go out and party and meet people that way. What I mean is, you know, we are apart from one another. So use the tools that you have to go get a little closer, ingratiate yourself with some communities, put yourself out there. Don't fall into the trap of, oh, no one's going to want me. Oh, I'm so fucking ugly. Someone's going to want you. I want you. Join my Discord. I want you. Comment down below. Message me. Fucking let's talk, okay? You're wanted. There are communities and people and places and things, I'm just doing nouns now, that love you and want you. So don't sit in your room by yourself and lie and tell yourself, I can't be on social media because I'm alone in this world, you know? You're not. And I won't let you be. So that's number 5. That's an important lesson I've learned. Don't sit in a corner and put yourself out of contention without even trying. Reach out to people. Tell people you love their stuff. At the very least, it'll make them happy. At the very best, you can make a lifelong best friend. It's crazy. I can't recommend it enough. So that's 5 things. I've done 5 of them now. I went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and now I'm done. 5 lessons that I've learned that stick with me daily and that I'm still trying to keep in my mind and relearn and relearn and relearn. I hope that they were somewhat useful to you. I hope that I've resonated with you in some way. I hope that I've connected to some ventricle of your heart and that you are feeling some type of way. And if you are, please tell me down in the comments. Tell me some of the most important fucking things you've learned because I need them. I really do. I'm not a know-it-all, and I hope I don't come across that way because there's so much I don't know. There's so much shit I don't understand. There's so many things I'm still trying to figure out in myself. I am as broken as anybody else, and don't let some dumb post-ironic influencer culture nonsense that I put upon myself cloak that, okay? Full transparency, I'm a mess, but I'm trying to get better just like everybody else. And I want you to do the same. So let's talk about that. There's always a dialogue. It's always open. You can always come to my Discord. We got lovely people there. We got a loving community, an accepting community, clean desk, messy desk, turkey lover, turkey hater. You're going to have a rough time if you're real big on Thanksgiving, I think. But other than that, I think we'll still find a way to love you. So come on by. Come talk to us. And yeah, that's all I got for you. I hope that you had a great Thanksgiving. I hope that you had good food and not turkey. Hope that maybe conversations with your family didn't get a little too political, that your weird uncle didn't start talking about QAnon and how we got to get some frogs out of the water or whatever. I hope that you were able to find a little bit of warmth in this weird cold world that we live on. And I hope that you're doing well. Hope you're taking care of yourself. I will be back next week with a new video. I don't think it's going to be this. I got to figure people are sick of just watching me talk. I think we're going to make some music maybe. Put some ideas down below. Maybe some samples that you really are dying to hear sampled. Give me them and I will sample them. And we just make a little beat and have a little fun together and take it back to the fucking vintage Octodad, you know? But in any case, whatever I end up doing, I hope to see you there. And if I don't, I want to thank you so much for watching. You could have sat down with anybody on the internet today, but instead you chose to sit down with me. A freshly coiffed gentleman spending Thanksgiving by himself. Not in the depressing way, in the really cool way. My family's in San Francisco and I couldn't go. I had to work. Don't be fucking weird about it. Anyway, I think that's super cool. Can't thank you enough for it. If you like the content, I'd urge you to subscribe. If you don't feel satisfied just subscribing, I have a Patreon down there. If you chuck a couple bucks my way, helps me tremendously, helps me keep this channel running. My patrons are literally the reason I'm here. Yes, it's all about the Benjamins, even for a smooth Marxist boy like myself. I gotta feed these hungry kids, man. What can I tell you? If you don't want to listen to lesson number 1 and you want to buy gear, I got affiliate links down there for Perfect Circuit. If you're going to buy gear, you should do it from them because they're hot and sexy. And they have the best customer service people in the whole dang world. I know it for a fact, and I'm not biased. And finally, take care of yourself. Take a deep breath. Remember that everything is fleeting, nothing is forever in both the positive and negative ways, and you are infinite and supreme. You don't have to fucking follow any laws, dude. You can do whatever you want, brother. Fuck yeah. Anyway, I will see you next week. But until then, I'm Daniel. This is The Messy Desk. And I love you more than I love literally any other meat than turkey. And I guess bologna and Spam. I'll see you next week. Peace.